I'm here. Oh, now I need to figure out how to do the thing.
Hello, the camera. It should
Hi.
have asked you right before you.
It said, do I want to do video?
Yeah, I mean, and you don't have to if you don't want to, but I
I,
mean,
I'd love to
you
do video.
should.
Yeah. If I can, I'm totally going to. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Camera. I see it. Here I am. Oh, hi.
Perfect. Hello.
We're here.
Yes. Where's Alexis? Is she here?
Um,
I don't see
well,
her.
CR Jane is here.
She is. Hello.
Hi, CR.
Hello. I'm just picking what filter I want for this because I've been in the sun all day.
I understand. It's so funny, Troy, because I've seen you on so many lives and we've chatted enough to where I think I feel like we've
I
been on live
know.
together before, but we never
hmm I know. That's kind of weird. Yeah, I do feel like I know you, and
This is our first time.
I know. Oh, look at us. We're
I
so
know.
cute. All right.
We are, aren't we?
You're
Hold
pretty
on.
cute.
Troy, when am I going to get my invite to New Orleans?
Yeah, okay, so we're sending out invites. I think Wednesday.
All right.
That, that means it's going to be real. I can't back out. Actually, I couldn't back out anyway. I'd I'd be staying at your place. Yeah.
There she is. Hi.
Alexis.
Hello,
Hi.
gorgeous.
You
Hi,
guys look so
guys.
good.
Oh, thanks. You
CR. Hi.
too. Oh,
Hi.
you're beautiful.
Well, this is a good day for
Are
me.
so, CR, are you on Pacific Standard Time? Or are you East?
Well, today I'm on Pacific Standard Time. I am homeless at the moment
Oh
because we
no.
had to
Oh,
move
oh
out of
yes,
our,
that's right. That's right.
yeah, we had to move out of our
Oh,
rental and we're building a house and it was supposed to be done in August and then I added a bunch of woodwork. And so then it's going to be September now, but we don't
Mhm.
have a date. So like we stayed with my in-laws for 2 days and we've been in Scottsdale at this place we come to every year since Wednesday and we'll be here for like another week.
Wow.
And then
yeah.
we'll be in Park City for like 5 days. And then I
Oh,
think we'll be staying with my in-laws again. I don't know.
You are moving and grooving.
oh.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I have to
Well,
write
I
like
guess
5,000 words a day and work during all that. So,
Wow. Oh my God.
how do you do
It's
that?
a nomadic summer.
yeah, it has
I
been. I've
love
been to
that.
London, Cabo, Texas, Phoenix. Where else? I think I've been somewhere else. Oh, Seattle for the T Swift concert. Yeah, I've been everywhere this summer.
Oh,
Wow. Which
that's
concert did you go to?
incredible.
Taylor Swift. This is my second time this year because I'm a
Really?
huge
Wow.
Swiftie. Yeah.
I
I
love
love
that
Taylor
so
Swift.
much.
Yeah.
I used
I
to
went
catch so much
to
grief because, like, I think I was the only guy who liked Taylor Swift in the beginning, but I was enamored with that girl.
yeah.
I mean, she is so talented. She's like so,
Yes,
like she's got it all.
I
She is
know.
my
And now she's like a cult leader. It's incredible.
yes.
That's how it
I
starts.
love it so
I
much.
think,
Yeah, I
yeah.
went to Las Vegas night two, and then I went to Seattle night one, and then am in the lottery for when she comes back next fall. So fingers crossed.
She's
Wow.
still
I
going to be
told my
touring next
husband that we're
fall.
gonna try to sell those tickets, but I think I'm gonna go if I get
Yeah.
them.
Is that are you a Swiftie or what are they?
Yes, I'm
A
a huge
Swiftie?
50. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
actually hide like Easter eggs in all of my books, as well as
Really?
like Heartbreak Prince came from Miss Americana and Heartbreak Prince. And
Yeah.
then Ruining Dahlia has like, was really inspired by the lakes and like all a bunch of other stuff. So basically, she guides all of my writing.
Wow.
I
She's your
love
muse.
it.
Like, I
So, are
hid
you
tons
a?
of Easter eggs in the Pucking Room Network.
Oh, that's what I was
And
about to
Raven
ask.
Kennedy, who's one of my like best friends, she texted me like at midnight and she's like, does this mean, did you get this from Taylor? Like, is this for a reference to Taylor Swift? And I was like, yes, you're the only one who's gotten it. Now I know that we're real friends.
What are you going
I
to do
love that.
when Taylor reaches out to you and says, "You're my inspiration"?
I mean, I'll faint. I'll just die.
You guys will be besties.
I love
My
that so
ultimate
much.
dream is to get one of these books signed for like Netflix or something, and then have her, you know, like how she just did the the summer I Turned Pretty. She did August, I think she contributed to that. So I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
just contribute something to me, please.
Dude, I feel like Fucking Wrong Number would make such a good movie.
It would if
It
they
would.
let you know, like
It would.
the one with the guy from Gossip Girl that
Yeah,
everyone
Joe
always
Goldberg.
compares. Yeah, but Lincoln is so
You,
much
yeah.
nicer than Joe. But I'm like, it would be a really exciting, maybe. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
I was trying to
Yeah, yeah.
describe the Fucking Wrong Number to a woman who had not read it yet, and she, so she's just now dipping her toes into romance. And I said, well, it really has everything if you think about it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of rom-com in there, a little bit of
Thriller.
some hockey romance, there's some thriller in it, a little bit of masturbating on somebody's bed, but
You can't say that, Troy.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna get you kicked off too. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that was
No,
what we got
no, that's the
yeeted on
thing.
last
You won't
time.
get me kicked off, but you might.
Oh,
I was on a
is
live
this
the other
selected like
day.
that?
Yeah,
No,
like it's
no, it'll
whoever
get
the
you. It'll get you kicked off.
They'll get you
me,
kicked off?
because I was
Yeah.
on
Oh,
one
that's
where
not
I was
fair.
not hosting. I wasn't hosting, and I got kicked off because we were talking about Shibari, and I wasn't even saying anything that was that explicit. I was just talking about like rope, and then they kicked me
Oh,
off
Shibari
only.
is.
Everyone else
So
got
you
to
can't
stick
even talk
around,
about
just
that?
me.
I mean, I
I
think
don't know.
that seems fairly harmless. I mean, I guess
But they don't
I
always
don't know.
take it as like, I don't even want to say that word, like romantic. Like they take that as like a kind of situation when they hear certain words. I mean,
You think
Yeah,
there's you think there are people in China right now sitting there in a room watching us going, "I've got my eye on you."
Yes,
Well,
they are.
I
Any
think also
second now.
sometimes
They've
people
got their little
passing
fingers
through the
poised.
live, if they watch and they hear you talking about
Oh
something
yeah,
that they
they
find
report you.
distasteful, they can report you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Someone
I
said,
don't know.
Troy, don't get kicked off. It's only been 8 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, in all
Let's
fairness,
wait till
we
the
made
last
it really
15.
far the last
You
time.
did, yeah,
Like
you did
I
really
didn't even
good.
think
we
about it. I was
we
like, oh, let's
we
wait
did
this part.
there was a lot said prior. Like I was shocked we made it that far.
Yeah,
It
even
was
me, I was
adorable.
like at the point in time when I was like, they really let you get away with a lot. Was when they like booted me off. So,
Well, if
wow.
we do get booted, let's try to make it closer to the end. I'm live tomorrow. That's on Instagram, so it doesn't even matter if I get a
Yeah,
suspended
well,
news time.
my tablet just decided to do an upgrade and I couldn't stop it. So right now it's upgrading itself. So I might have to go grab like my Kindle to get
Oh,
the book
okay.
and go
I
that
love
way
that.
because it
I
doesn't
love
want to
that.
work and there's nothing I can do right now. So I might have to grab my Kindle.
That's
Okay.
fine. I mean, we'll just chat for a little bit. Maybe it'll give us enough time.
Yeah, we're going to talk about CR's world tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you have planned for 2024 so far?
I don't even know. I'm trying to survive the rest of this year because I've got like 5 books coming out in the next 5 months that originally I had put out, like I had booked them really far in advance. And then I was like, I don't even have to worry. I don't know. In my head, I thought I would like get them all done and then I didn't. And then, so that's the goal. And then I have,
Oh my gosh.
I have Love in Vegas in October, at the end of October, which I think is going to be really fun.
Oh yeah, I'll
I'm
be there.
so sad I can't
You're going to
go.
be there
I
too? All right.
got a ticket. I'm on the wait list, watching the
Yeah.
sites, trying to be able to go. Ugh.
You could still go. There's a bunch of people. Actually, I don't have ticket.
You're just
She's
gonna
just
go.
gonna steal it.
Oh,
I thought, no, I was like, I'm gonna get a ticket, and I was actually going because I'm on the beauty team for an author who's, bringing me out there,
okay.
and my friend Sarah. So she got her tickets like right away, and I'm like, it's not till October. This was back in June, so I'm like, I'll
Yeah,
wait
they
until like
sold
the end
out
of
so
summer.
fast.
No, they did not. Literally, they sold out the day before
Oh,
I
right
said
before
I'm
you
gonna get my
buy your ticket.
ticket. And
Oh
this was like,
no.
I don't know, maybe a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I was like, dang it, because they still had tickets and I wasn't worried about it. Honestly, it was the same with Readers Take Denver. I have a ticket for that, but I bought my ticket
Hmm.
thinking this is ridiculous that I have to buy it so far in advance. My friends were hounding me because we're supposed to be going together. So I bought them, and then like less than 24 hours later, they were like sold out, and they're like, "See, we told you."
Wow. Well, you know what?
Um,
Tiffany reached out to me about Wild and Windy in Chicago,
Oh,
and
really?
like I had planned on going by myself, and she said, "Hey, could I go as your assistant?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And so I reached out to them and said, "Hey, I've got an assistant. Can I bring her?" So maybe somebody could maybe somebody's going by themselves. Then you could be their assistant.
I
Yeah.
know, maybe. I think the only thing that I have to be careful for is when I get to bed. I'm usually they're hired to do hair for authors, and a lot of
Mm.
times the timing of that can interfere with like assisting duties that would be required. Um,
So you could do my
like
hair while I was there.
I could if you needed a
Yes.
little a little
You could give me a
blowout,
little,
some
yeah,
pomade.
yeah, that would be
Oh,
great.
Um,
someone said that they could sneak you in, Alexis. Cup and saucy books.
Oh, I
All right.
mean,
Perfect.
I'll put on a wig and everything if it makes it easier to sneak. I don't know, but
Cup and Saucy, they're very cool. I just recorded a podcast with them, and they're
Hmm.
very cool. They I think so. Yeah, Jan,
I love Jen.
yeah, Jan and Xana, they're both getting
Yeah.
tattoos in Vegas,
Oh my
big
gosh, me and
ones.
Cool.
Sarah are getting tattoos in Vegas.
Yeah, yeah, they're
Yeah.
getting really really big ones, like on like their entire stomach.
Oh no, we're getting
It's
really
crazy.
tiny ones.
Yeah, they're going full on. They're totally just
Yeah.
doing it all up. So
I have a
Wait.
misspelled tattoo, so I learned my lesson
Oh
with tattoos.
you
Wait,
no.
did.
what kind do you have?
It's
A
misspelled.
Oh,
misspell.
Is it really? You got a no
I guess
regrets?
I guess
Yeah, a variation of that.
I think
Yeah.
it's
Troy needs to
ragret.
get a giant butterfly tattoo right across his chest.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
Perfect.
perfect.
I
Let's do
love
it.
that.
So when I was a kid, a weird kid. I had this like fixation with like tattoos and scarring and stuff, and like there was a girl that I really liked, and her name was Annette, and but I was 9, and so I carved her name in my arm with an X-Acto knife, but I spelled it wrong, and so luckily it didn't scar, but
Can you
that kind of
imagine?
gives you an idea of like what I'm,
What would
you know.
Sheila
So
say?
you really were Lincoln back in the
Yeah, I
day.
really was. Yeah,
That's actually
I really
something
was.
that Ari's going to do. So,
Oh yeah. Oh man. No wonder they're best buds.
I
So
I
yeah.
think that
Well, I actually mispronounced or misspelled Sheila's name one time, and I paid for that. It was yeah, it was cold for a full night, and it was just a typo. I knew how to spell her name, but I spelled it Shiela,
uh-huh.
and she didn't appreciate it. I think I tried to play it off, but like, oh yeah, I
see
came up with an
my
exotic way to spell your name, but she didn't fall for it.
my husband, when he asked me to be his girlfriend, it was
Mm.
like more elaborate than I think some proposals. So like he had
Oh,
gotten my mom to take me out for like a girls' day, and then he said that he was at home sick, and at the time he lived an hour away from me. So when I we were on our way home, I was like, hey, I don't mind coming to like console you in your sickness for a little bit tonight after I get home from my girls' night. And so
mm.
he's like, yeah, sure, that's fine. So I was just gonna like drop and roll my mom at the curb of our house and tuck in.
Oh,
She's like, you
okay.
should go to the bathroom before you go. And I was living with my parents at the time. So I'm like, okay, I like run up the stairs. I don't realize till I'm halfway to the front door that like the walkway to their house is lined with tea lights.
Wow.
I open up their house, thousands of candles lit in my parents' home leading up to my bedroom at the time. And
Oh
in this
man.
bedroom was 1,000 balloons. And
Holy moly.
they all had puzzle pieces inside
Oh
the
my
balloons.
gosh.
So I had to pop these
Man.
balloons and
That's
like get all
dedication.
the puzzle pieces out. My best friend and my sister helped him do it all day. And
Holy cow.
or
Thank God he's
maybe
your
it wasn't
husband now.
1,000. Maybe it was like 700 or something like that. I can't remember. It was a lot.
That's a lot. I mean,
And
that's a
my
lot.
whole room was full of it.
Wouldn't that be funny if
And
you,
then
well, it wouldn't be funny, but like if you had walked in the room and like there were like four passed out people on the floor because they hyperventilated blowing up
Just
all those
blowing all
balloons.
those balloons.
You killed them.
I don't know
Yeah.
how they did it. I don't know how they did it. But I got all the puzzle pieces together. I built the puzzle that he custom made that said, "Will you be my girlfriend?" But it girlfriend was spelled wrong. It was like
Dear Lord.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh,
And he was
Oh.
like, "Oh no."
CR, you need to be taking notes on this. This
I
is a
know,
great,
I
this
actually
is a,
am. I'm like listening closely.
yeah, you have to give it some
That was
like,
so cute.
some writers, take some liberties as a writer.
Yeah.
But
I
Just to
didn't
let
even
you know,
care.
I
I had
opened
it
this whole
framed in my
conversation.
bedroom.
oh my gosh, it's so sweet.
Perfect.
yeah,
Yeah, the
CR's
girls were
artistic
pretty
touch
sweet.
might be a little bit darker. Man,
I love
I
that.
Just
really,
a
I
little
I
bit.
love
really love your daughter. How much do you love my daughter? Well, let me show you.
seriously.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
based on a true story.
Lincoln would never have asked for her to be his
Yeah.
Right, right. That's more of an Ari thing. Ari is
That's
a nicer.
truly true.
Yeah,
She
No.
was just his girlfriend, okay?
Yeah,
yeah.
she really didn't have a choice.
No.
Wow. Well, yeah, thank God that you like it's good that you guys are married now because who
No
else would
kidding.
have been able to come after that? I
That's
mean,
true.
he's the guy that you like all the other guys are like, screw it. Take her, she's yours. I'm not gonna do
I think
anything
it's
that next level.
yeah, he's pretty cute and romantic. He's also really good at handmade gifts. So like
Mm,
he's made me like wooden chests and just like all sorts of elaborate
wow.
gifts over the
Oh,
years. He's very crafty and handy. I think it came from like he didn't grow up with like a ton of money, and so he always had to be creative and like just kind of
Hmm.
come up with what he could with what he had. And it's translated really well into adulthood. His gifts are always very
Yeah.
unique.
That's very thoughtful. That's very cool.
I have to say hi to Mal that just
I
joined.
know.
Oh
I
yeah.
was gonna say hi,
Yeah.
Mal.
She posted like the funniest videos of my entire
They were
life,
amazing.
like 4 of them, and made my
Yeah.
like entire week. So I love her.
Hmm.
Yeah, she's the best.
I
Sounds
love
very good.
Mal.
I am seeing the
That's
fucking wrong number everywhere. Like everybody is like all over the place with that.
I feel like it's
mhm.
gaining traction too.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
I feel like we're I just
Well,
took a peek the other day at like Amazon charts and we're back on Amazon charts and like moving up higher on
Hmm.
them again. I'm like, that's amazing for a
Yeah,
month.
the audiobook has been doing really well. It's been funny with this book, it's done like I've been top 100 for almost 3 months now, and it's been like all reader groups and like word of mouth. Like it hasn't even, there hasn't been like one video on TikTok that's gone viral or anything like that. So I think
yeah,
that's even cooler, because it's
Oh
been like
yeah.
people just
totally.
sharing that they love it
Yeah,
so
people who are
much.
loving it.
And yeah, I've loved
Yeah.
that.
I saw
Well, that's why.
yeah,
Sorry.
there was a post today that said, hey, I'm thinking about reading this book, and there was a big graphic of the fucking wrong number. They said, what do you think? And like everybody was like, oh my God, yes, there's
No
like,
way.
there's like three-quarters of WTF, but it's all worth it.
Yeah, I can't. It's like funny to me because I felt like I was leading everyone to like this like eventuality, and then like every review was like, this came out of nowhere. I'm like, I led you there. Like,
Oh no.
If you read it again,
is building.
if you read it again, you pick up on those clues. But I know even when I was narrating it, when I got to that part, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, this is okay. And then, but as I was going back and reading it, I was like, oh, this was happening. I don't know why my brain didn't pick up on all this. Because it's there
before they do a review, and then they can be like, oh, she just geniusly led me to this like eventuality at 80% the entire time, and I was not shocked at all.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I mean, it was the same.
That's so funny because when we were talking about which when we were talking about which clip to do for the audio, you're like, you can't do that clip. It's the biggest spoiler. In my mind, I'm like, who hasn't read this book? I'm like, everyone's seen it. They should. But then I feel like I remember. Oh yeah.
I feel like that part actually isn't the most talked about.
I told you everything.
I feel like it's his Long John Silver that gets talked about the most. And then,
yeah. Well, you certainly did.
I've actually been seeing like
on their second date
scenes be like picked up more. Like the heart scene does really well on TikTok, you know, like when he with the heart. And then I see the college one a lot on TikTok about paying for like the college class. So like it's like
I love that.
Of, like, my gosh, yes. And sweet.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. I was telling somebody.
I feel like I sent a voice message to her about that. I was like, all of their college tuition, how rich is this hockey player?
You did. Yeah, you did. You were like, wait, how much do these people make? And then you're like, oh wait, he is a son of that. Disregard this message.
Yeah, that's true. Although he's like he talks about how he made his money. Like it
is a community college. It could be like 5 kids, you know, but still like.
Yeah, but he's an MVP.
Like it wouldn't be. I don't think. Because like a state college would be like 5,000 something a semester, right? Like per student, I think at most like regular state colleges. So if you then do a community college, I think it would probably be half of that. So it's no big deal for him.
Okay.
Yeah, think about that.
You're right.
Like to somebody who makes that much money. I mean, somebody who signs a $25 million contract for a year's worth of work. I mean, you break that down, and it's just crazy the money that you have to where
well, and that doesn't include endorsements and everything else like for his photo shoots.
So I mean if you're looking at 30 people in a room paying even $10,000, $300,000,
exactly.
No big deal.
You're right. Exactly. In the grand scheme of things.
It's true.
I just
love,
enjoyed it.
It's true
I
love.
enjoyed it so much. I enjoy crazy men. So like, okay, one of my favorite. I always say guilty pleasure, but I need to stop saying that because I don't feel guilty about it at all. But it's the Mountain Men of Montana series by Gemma Ware, where if you read one of her books, it's all picture like 7 brides for 7 brothers, but like in a modern lumberjack setting where these 7 Barnett brothers, they have this family legacy where they all fall in love at first sight. That's how their parents met, and their parents have passed, and that's how they find their girls. And literally, they'll see them off the street and be like, she's the one, and they'll like kidnap her and like do all sorts of like crazy stuff. And I just get so much enjoyment out of reading every single one. It's so entertaining. They're so good.
I have to do like, because I write darker, even though I consider like the Pugging to be like, a happy book, I still write so dark that I can only like read like light stuff in between. Especially when I was writing the Rich Demon series, Troy, I had to like read the fluffiest fluffery stuff ever because that series is so dark.
Yeah.
It's so good though. It's so good.
I need ice cream between those two.
Yes,
I love
sure.
that series.
Yeah.
I'll have to add that to my TBR.
You have to. It's so good. It's the reverse harem, and it's like chef's kiss.
And Troy narrates all of those.
Oh yeah.
It was before I discovered Alexis.
Yeah.
Yes, our rising star.
Alexis, you are on fire. Yeah, you're like
She
everybody's
is.
talking about you. You're doing
Oh
stuff.
gosh, hopefully in a good way.
It's all good. Yeah.
It's so
Everybody.
good. It's so good. In fact, it was so funny because Troy did his like duet me narration for this, and
Mhm.
then he I missed it, but somehow I made it into the top three. And so then
Mhm.
his assistant DM'd me saying, "Hey, you got in the top three. We're gonna send you like an Audible credit." And me and Alexis, we messaged back and forth all the time. And I was like, I think I'm gonna use my winning credit to like get the fucking wrong number audiobook because I didn't have it
Yeah.
yet at the time. And she was so sweet. She was like, "Oh, like give me your email." I'm like, "You better not. I'll give you my email, but don't use it for this. I'm gonna use my credit." And she's like, "Too late."
Oh, that's sweet.
So this book was kindly gifted to me by Alexis because she's a
Nice.
darling. But
Bribery, pure bribery is what
Well,
it
wouldn't that be
was.
cool if you could autograph those things? If you could like send somebody a download and like have some kind of an audible
That would be cool.
signature, that would be awesome.
That would be really cool.
I
That
loved
would
it
be
so
cool.
much. And I seriously was sending her messages throughout the whole journey of me being like,
Yeah. So
Your
yeah,
reactions
Alexis,
were really good.
that's a
You and
pretty
Mal, I think,
auspicious.
posted within like 2 weeks of each other, and I
Mhm.
"Oh yeah,
was dying because it was so funny.
I
But
love that."
it was okay. So I've been beta reading for Raven for her last book in the Plated Prisoner series, right?
Oh,
And I
gold.
told her she's like not allowed to kill off this one character, and she was like, "Just think about what you did." She's like, "I'm
Oh
allowed to do
no.
anything I
Oh
want." And I
no,
was like,
who?
"No." I was like,
No.
"My 80% does not count
Slade?
as a
Not
death,
not
okay?"
not Slade, right?
No, that's I haven't worried about him yet. I mean, who knows?
Like that. Alexis was Monroe. Your narration of her was perfection.
Thank
Yes,
you.
it was so good.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was
How does that feel? I don't know that I've known anybody who has made that auspicious an entry into audiobooks. I guess
The pre
that's a
it
big
was
thing. It's got to be a little
it,
surreal.
it was every extreme dynamic, to be
Mhm.
honest. Like it was because everything for me happened so fast. Like I started submitting myself for production companies like Darkstar. It
Mhm.
was like May 3rd,
Mhm.
and then I like got my first audition like a week later, and I happened to book that. And
Mhm.
then it was like I was already like, oh, I'm Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. And then it was like a week later,
Yeah.
I got the fucking wrong number. And then it was announced like 2 days later publicly. And I hadn't even like really processed this was happening yet. But by that weekend, I was recording the book. So like, but I also knew like, I like connected and it was easy. But being such an avid reader and then a stage performer and having experience for me, it's like, trying to like gauge the medium because like the stuff that I had practiced and worked on had been solo. And so like
Mhm.
trying to find like I knew I had to match and I obviously had been a fan of yours so I had heard and listened to like how you narrate so I kind of had something to go on what I thought you would kind of
Mhm.
feed back. But like it was just I was like, okay, well everyone adores Troy. Everyone loves CR Jane. You're a fan of CR Jane. So you can't mess this up. And it was like I was like this is either going to like be very 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 wonderful for you or you're going to have no career after this book. so, so,
Yeah.
so it was
No,
just
you
like I
did a
was
good job. Yeah.
petrified. But
no, it was
yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah, it
And
was
I was
nice.
nervous
Everybody.
about like my kids' voices and stuff because I was like, you said 10, and I was like, well, Monroe's young, so like I have to
Mhm.
keep her youthful, but I don't want to do like a little tiny like kid's voice, you know, but
That's
like
a pretty
because
damn good
10-year-olds
kid's voice
don't
you just
talk
did.
like that. And so
Yeah.
I was like, well, so I was calling all my friends that have like kids, and I'm like, can I just hear your kid talk for a little bit?
Oh, that's a cute child.
It was
And then they're
good.
like, and so it's
Yeah,
like,
your kid's voice is really cool.
because like my stage background is all like caricature stuff, so like
Hmm.
it's like easy for me to do like very animated things. And so I think like but I was not I don't know it was I was definitely like oh, this is huge. This is Troy. Like, this is bucket list idol things happening. So it was wild.
How does that
Yeah.
feel, Troy? You like,
I don't even know.
an
Honestly,
icon.
yeah. Some, I don't know. It's just weird. Like when people say, "Hey, would you say this in my phone?" Or I just had a client call or send me an email saying, "Hey, my finance manager loves your stuff. Will you call her and say hi?" And I'm just like a guy. Like I go to the store and I do my thing, and nobody recognizes me. So it's kind of weird for me too. Kind of surreal. But
I love
but I
that.
like it. I mean, it's fun.
I had someone slide into my DMs the other day saying, "Oh my gosh, were you at this breakfast place this morning in Portland?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes, I
Oh
was."
man, yeah.
And it's so weird because that's never happened to me before. I'm like,
Hmm.
someone recognized me out in public from book talk?
That's
Crazy.
right. Yeah. So yeah, you have to think about that. Like you've
No,
got
I
so
never think
many
about that.
you got so many followers that you're like now you have to kind of like look around to make sure that because
Definitely
somebody's gonna.
not. My hubris is not nearly to
It
that
will
level
be.
yet.
It's funny how small the world becomes in
Mm.
like anything entertainment industry. Like, it's I bet you get there really quickly where you're like, oh, I'm so and so, and you're like, oh, no way, I know them, and they're like, yeah, I
Mhm.
know. Like,
Yeah.
you're always like a third degree connected, and like it's wild. I bet you get there, and that starts happening a lot more for you.
No, maybe
You,
eventually.
it's weird. CR, you're in Scottsdale right now. So I used to live in
Yeah.
Phoenix,
Mhm.
and it was kind of weird. So my ex-wife, she was in radio, and I was in radio. I was a production guy, and so I worked. I got a job in Phoenix at this rock station, like the big rock station in Phoenix, and like my all it was that was my bucket list was like it was a hard rock station, and that's all I wanted to do. And so I get there, and then it just so happened that the morning guy, his partner, quit, and so they were doing like live auditions, and they said, "Hey, your wife works in radio. Do you want her to try out?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll tell her." So she tried out. She ended up getting the job, and so she became his partner. Well, he was the big morning show in Phoenix, and she used to get like they've got a maximum security penitentiary out there. Uh,
Mhm.
it's I think it's either in Yuma or I can't remember the name of the other town. But anyway, she used to get like letters from convicts all the time, and like they would like one of them started, "Dear Steph, first of all, I mean you no harm," and then it would go on to tell her how she was, that he loved her. And so one
Hi,
time
Molly.
we went to Roswell, New Mexico, to go visit her dad who lived there. Roswell's just a tiny town,
Yeah,
so we're in Roswell,
where the
about a
aliens
thousand
live.
miles away from Phoenix, and some dude just like came up to her and said, "Hey, I'm a big fan of yours." And that was like really weird because like here we are in the middle of nowhere, and like somebody found her,
Yeah.
and it was pretty weird.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it
I love
was
that.
crazy. And I guess we did the live before I went to England, right?
Be right back,
Mhm.
Mom.
So I don't know, like England was the only country that Pucking didn't go like top 10, right?
Mhm.
And so I was like, okay, how's this gonna go? I mean, I have all these other books and stuff, but they were so nice and so like passionate about the
Mhm. Yeah.
books, and like they had to put like the little barricade out, like for people to like line up, but they and it was
Oh,
like a keychain from France or like these like Welsh cakes from like Scotland or something. I don't even know. But it was like I have a whole bag of gifts like from
I love
from
that.
these leaders, and I was like, you guys are the nicest
Some
ever.
people bring the most creative stuff too. Like when I was at Book
Yeah.
Bonanza, people were kind of in line sharing like the things that they brought to have signed, and I'm like, oh my gosh, here I am, just like, can you sign these clear stickers?
Yeah, people had made like a
That's a good
scrapbook
idea,
with like
though.
custom
Mhm.
stickers. with like Lincoln Snow on it and like all different things from the book. Which reminds me, they
Wow.
want to like start selling them, and I totally forgot to ever answer back. I need to do that.
That
If
would
you're
be cute
watching this,
Yeah.
though.
I didn't forget, but I
Too
kind of
busy working on the
forgot.
chapstick, huh?
Yeah. And so, um, yeah, it was cool. It was really fun.
Are you doing Rare next year in Edinburgh? Are you thinking
So
about
I
going?
think I am.
I'm gonna try and go because Scotland's a bucket list for me.
Yeah, I've heard that's like a smaller signing, so I haven't been like sure, but then I've always wanted to go to Edinburgh, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
like possibly they wanted me to come out for what's the one in the fall? I think it was Italy because I have
Paris. Oh.
Pucking Pucking is coming out in Italian.
Oh,
But I just couldn't
that's
do that with
exciting.
everything happening and being
Italian is
homeless.
like Italy is a big market for audiobooks, isn't it? Because I hear a lot of audiobooks get translated to books and audiobooks get translated to Italian.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they just like romance a lot there in Israel actually. Like
Yeah.
I met the
Israel.
publishers of for the Israel version of Pucking while I was
Mhm.
at Rare, and they were like so excited because they like
Wow.
twisty, like, like edge of your seat in Israel evidently. So they think it's going to do super well there. So it was exciting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I will say, I loved everything about the craziness of this book. I wish at the very end she had resisted him a little bit longer. Just a little bit.
But
So I'm
see,
like, oh,
I wrote
she
it that
gave
she's
in.
broken, right? Like she's someone who she needs someone to like love her and
Yeah.
want her, and like she's desperate for it, you know? And so she
Yeah.
has this guy who's like just, offering her everything. So
Everything,
she's not
for
going to
sure.
react like a normal, like
No, for
balanced
sure, for
person
sure.
because she is she's just as like deficit in things as he is, was my
Yeah.
thinking,
Yeah, that
No,
is
and
pretty
it
good. Yeah,
definitely came across that way. At the
mhm.
end, I was like, she kind of just came to terms with the fact that maybe she's also a little bit psycho, and like they
Exactly.
just complement each other in that
That's
way.
kind
Yeah.
of cool. Yeah, they did seem they fit together, and they had their own things that made them into who they were, and what made them who they were made them fit together and complement each other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that was my goal.
what kind of
Hmm.
sane girl would like just keep on going, business as usual, after your second date seeing someone tattooed?
Right. Like,
Her name.
she's
She's
like,
like,
because he's already
oh,
freaking out, right?
actually,
Like she's like
Hmm.
overly jealous on that second date, like than
yeah.
someone normally would be, right?
Hmm.
Because she
Hmm.
Yeah,
already is just like desperate to like feel something because
yeah.
she's never dated, she's never, and like with Blake, who's the heroine for the Fucking Wrong Guy, she
Yeah.
also has this like deficit. She has this boyfriend, right, who she has been with that's like he just cuts her down like constantly, and she already has holes because of her background. So like again, there's going to be like it fits
Yeah.
because crazy people need other crazy people to,
Yeah.
Well, that's
you
kind of
know.
cool.
So is he gonna
That's a
be
that's
just
a
as
great way to look
crazy?
at it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
because
think so.
I think that like the people in the past the way that they would write stories is like all of these people would be like very well-adjusted people who were victims of a circumstance or of bad people, and like everybody had their own, everybody was like they're like really single dimension people. But like in the Pucking Wrong Number, you know there's a whole bunch of things that make Monroe who she is, and a big part of that is like how she was treated when she was a child that affects her, and like whether how she can have relationships with people. She just had to find the right guy,
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
their
Exactly.
crazy matched each other.
Because my
That's true.
growing up, like I had like a lot of emotional stuff happening that created like deficits that I've noticed as I've become an adult. Like I have major mommy issues because of like all these mother figures in my life. And so I wanted to create characters, or I try in like all of my books to create like your past really does define your future, even if you try to escape it, right? So that's, whereas I'm creating this like fantasy, I'm also always weaving in like pieces of my like past and psyche and all of that jazz.
Wow, I wonder if like someday, years from now, psychologists will like look back through our literature and try to like get glimpses of what society was like, with relationships and people in their emotional states
Yeah.
and I don't know where I'm going with that. It seemed like a really
No,
good, like I was on some next level stuff, but then I thought.
What's been funny
No.
about that is, so I have people message me all the time, like, I've been Googling how to like do, the scene with his Walla Walla Bing Bong. And
Oh yeah,
I'm
that's a
like,
good that's a good
I
question.
imagine I'm like responsible for all these FBI like agents like watching these search results of
How do
these
you
like
do that? That's
horny
right.
women like trying to look up this. And I'm
Oh, we deep
like,
dived.
Yeah, how many guys are going to be
The
like coming home
spoon.
to their wife or their girlfriend going, "Why don't you do that for me?"
yeah.
And
There's
then
like
you have to
one.
figure out how to do it. Like, how do you do it? Maybe you take like a shot because I would imagine like the tattoo artist has to have something to work with, right?
No,
I
it
read
use
has
it
to be
before,
soft.
like it really
And
is
they
a
use
real
a
thing you
soft.
can do.
they said a
No.
wooden spoon. It was or
Yeah,
like is
they
that
said
what they said? A
it
wooden
has to be
spoon.
soft and they have to like stretch it out to be taut. And
Oh,
then like it's a whole project.
so you
She
know.
sent me the most
Oh,
Okay.
hilarious image
Wow.
we're
because
also on that Google search, but on like a private browsing screen.
she was like, "Am I allowed to send you this picture that I found?" And I was like, "Send it my way, please." And it
That's
Is
what
was
I
it
mean. I'm responsible for some like between Rich Demons, Dahlia, and this one, there are some crazy like FBI searches that people
oh
have
my god.
going on.
And she
That's
sent me
pretty
this
funny.
dude whose entire pelvis was like elephant ears, and that was like the trunk, and it was like all tattooed.
that's
And
confidence.
then he had like this big metal ball at the end, and I was like, "This
So
looks
that's
like it's
another
about
question.
to like
Like,
cast a spell on me."
how
I
does
would
that
never
work?
let
What are those
that
things
near
called?
me.
Those are called like St. Albert's or St. John's. You
I don't
guys
Prince
know.
remember what
Albert.
the exact.
I don't think
Prince
there's a
Albert.
state involved.
Yeah, I think it's just a prince. Prince Albert.
Yeah, Prince Albert. The Prince Albert.
There's no
Like I
states
never.
involved in that.
Wait,
Yeah, I
you
never
wrote a
understood how
psych
that
paper
worked
on
either.
both of these characters in this book? That's
Can you
Oh
send
crazy.
wow,
can you send it to me?
Yeah, that's
Wow.
kind of
Yeah, Tracy,
amazing.
that would be
that would be
really
good to read.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I'm reading
Except
this
then
for
there'll be a
school.
paragraph
It's
about
for
the
school.
author. The author clearly has issues.
Clearly, the author has issues that really she needs immediate help.
Because there's
No.
Goodreads reviews, that are like
Mhm.
so mean, and they're like, this author should like die, or like she has clear mental issues, and I'm
No,
And
like, thank you very
it's
much.
just a story.
you're like, who
Yeah.
doesn't? Okay, what about it?
Yeah,
Let us
the
live.
author needs. One review just said the author needs help.
Oh,
I
well,
was like, Lincoln is
But
like
they
a
still
golden
read it. That's
retriever
the
of
thing. They
yeah,
stalkers,
still read
okay?
it.
that
Like
may
she
or
could
may
have
not be so,
stopped.
but it makes for good reading material.
Exactly. I still
So
got my money out of you, even if you think I'm crazy.
I
yeah,
saw
that's right. Suck
someone,
on that.
they posted a screenshot of a 1-star review they saw for Fourth Wing, and all it
Mhm.
said was like, Xander wore skinny jeans. And like, that was so like people will
Sometimes
just
that's
write
enough.
the most true.
Yeah.
That's enough to tip it to
Outrage.
1 star,
Yeah, they're
okay?
Oh
like,
my God. You know
stop.
what? One day my son, so the Durans are gifted with bird legs. And my son, like when skinny jeans were like a thing, and he came out wearing skinny jeans. And poor guy. I mean, I looking back on it, I should have been kinder. But like I looked at him and I was like, "Oh my God, where are your legs?" And
And he's like, stop,
and then
Dad,
everybody
change
started laughing. So the poor I think I'm like responsible for several therapist bills for him.
it. Oh my goodness.
But
Well,
yeah, so skinny jeans sometimes.
Invoke
they're a
strong
deal breaker.
emotions.
Yeah, they come with strong emotions. So
Got it. So what you're saying is he probably left that review.
I was gonna say, I was like, so you're admitting
yeah,
for him.
that was
to
my son.
review.
I hate my dad.
That's so
This is for
funny.
you, Dad.
That was a good book though. So okay, when I forgot, I know it's out there, right? When the release date for Fucking Wrong Guy.
Well, it's gonna be this month, I think. So on Amazon it says the September 29th or something, just because I put it out to like give me time. But my schedule is like I have
Yeah,
to
it's
finish by
wackadoo.
X date to be able to start the next one. So it should be by the end of the month is my goal.
So you don't really know what's going to happen. Like when I read that epilogue of Ari, and I won't do the spoiler, but when I read that epilogue, I just kind of figured, okay, so she already wrote that next story. So you didn't really know what was going to happen when
Like
you wrote that epilogue.
I knew the skeleton outline, but I have an issue with like this boyfriend and what I'm gonna do with him and how Ari's gonna handle him and yeah, so
Okay.
it's just
Is he gonna go like rich demons on him and like?
it's just like taking a minute to figure that out in my head. I've like keep rewriting the same scene over and over again, but I'm working it out. I'm working it out. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah. And do we know a rough schedule for the like how soon the audio will be released after?
Well, Troy is so popular, he wouldn't put me in until December or something.
Oh,
I
that's
don't
pretty
know when he's
good. Actually, I
recording.
was
Sad.
worried you're going to say, yeah, it's not going to start until May or something, but that's
Can
pretty
I
good.
give a
think
spoiler? Because
Mhm.
I got through Denise. We're
Okay.
having a final record files due November 3rd. So we're going to
Oh,
be
yeah.
recording in October now.
Well, why is Podium taking so long then?
That's
Okay,
great.
I'm
So
gonna.
I'm
Good news.
assuming that it'll come out in November.
No,
No,
you
Something
know
they
then.
have
what?
it scheduled for pre-order
Because
in like February or something.
You know what
I
happened?
know.
So, CR, this is a credit to you. I think if I'm not mistaken, Podium was able to swap some books so that we could do yours and
Ooh.
make it so that it was closer to the release date of the book. So
Well,
yeah.
there
they,
you
I don't know numbers on this yet because I only get, like quarterly whatever,
go. Mhm.
but I think it's done super super well, and it's like been the benefit that I've been in the top 100 for the ebook, at the same time as the audiobook. So
Yeah.
I think that's helped, but I think I'm performing well for them right now.
Yeah. With that schedule, honestly, I don't know how some of you authors do it. Like that, if you're like 5 books before the end of the year, are you
That's crazy.
crazy? That's like Lauren
That's a
Blake
book a
who
month.
comes out with like 10
Yeah.
books a year. And I'm like, how do you do it?
Well, Megan Quinn comes out with like 2 books a month, and I'm like, and she hits like top 5 for every single one. I'm like, wow.
I don't know how you do. I can't make it. I can't do an email a month. Like I have to spend so much goddamn time on an email going, should I say I would love, no, I say love too much in my emails. I need to say appreciate. Yeah, I'll say appreciate. And then I go back and forth on my damn emails. It takes me forever to do an email. I can't imagine writing a book. But I
No.
mean, and the thing is, like at your level, you do it like so. I mean, it's kind of like the like super groups like U2 and the Rolling Stones and the bands that really have the staying power. They're the ones who can maintain like a certain level of creativity in a sustained manner. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like I
so
have a million stories in my head, but it was not my intention to write 5 books in 5 months. Like, I don't know how it happened. And part of it too is like some of my co-writers, they wanted to like get stories in to kind of build on, what's been going on. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this, but like, I guess I can try to do this. And yeah, so It'll
Yeah.
be fine, is what I tell
It'll be
myself.
Gonna
fine.
be
It's fine. This
fabulous.
is fine. Everything is fine.
So do things like Love in Vegas like stress you out when you have that schedule where you're like, I have to take time off to go to this event, but also deadlines and
No, I have so much fun at signings.
too.
Like, I don't know. I mean, usually I have some of my really good friends there, and then the readers are like, I mean, it is so fun to have people come up to you and they're so excited to meet you, and
Hmm.
they know everything about your book, and they like tell you that the book, is the thing that they like always reread, or it's like changed, like Dahlia. I got a lot of people who said that book like changed their life, and like all this stuff. And just even when they come up and like people's hands are like shaking and they're so nervous, and I don't know. I think it's so much fun. Yeah.
I love
You
that.
need to add the Mafia Wars to your list as well. So
I will.
Dahlia is on that. And it's so cool.
I feel
It's
like
so
I can
cool.
picture the book cover for Dahlia.
Probably
It's a red.
pink and
I
black,
just,
so it's
Yeah.
it's like I feel like it was one of the only ones that was those colors, like when it came out.
Yeah, because it was like purple and blue for Forget Me Not, and then the rest were all pretty much like the same color pattern except for yours. I think one was bright yellow.
Yeah, that one is Rebecca Royce's.
Yeah.
Did you get the name of Dahlia from like the Black Dahlia?
So we had to use flowers because it was a shared world, and so that wanted that name, so I picked that flower because I was like, this is the one that makes the most sense for a name for me.
It's a beautiful name.
Yeah. And so mine has like barbed wire and like pink dahlias on it, and it's an awesome cover. I love it.
I love that. I always wonder, like, if I were to write a book, I would have nowhere to start in like who to go to for book cover art. Are there like the same people that a lot of people in the industry go to? Do you just kind of on your own figure out someone random who you like on like that website that everyone goes to? I forgot what it's called
I
now,
think
but
everyone has their go-tos, so I have like 3 or 4 that do all my covers for the most part. But generally I start with a song lyric and then I build a whole book from that and then I get a cover. So
What was your song lyric for Pucking Wrong?
yeah.
it was Mastermind from that song.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay, what about The Wrong Guy? What's that one?
Um, that one is probably, I'm trying to think what's been inspiring me with that. It's probably Mastermind again. I think the theme of the entire series is like how these guys manipulate everything around them for these poor
Wow.
girls.
Yeah.
Oh,
Isn't it
and
amazing?
Taylor Swift and the national Alcott is one of the big themes of the Pucking Around Guy. So listen to it's like Meet Me at the Alcott or something like that, or it's just called the Alcott, but it's like totally fits the theme.
Taylor seems so wholesome and sweet. And then
Oh,
these,
she knows how to write revenge.
yeah.
She
I
does,
only know
Taylor.
a few Taylor Swift songs, but I like all of the ones that I'm like the guy, the guy that they sing about in Nirvana who like likes all the pretty songs and likes to sing along, but he doesn't know what they mean. I'm that guy. I'm that guy. I know like 3 songs, but I love them.
Creep was also a big one for
that's perfect.
the Pucking Wrong number.
Yeah. I was all for him threatening her landlord and like getting her out of that living situation. Totally fine. The job, that was a little, I was like, okay, bro, we're isolating her, we're taking away her independence, but like for the plot I was totally here for it.
She never would have done it on her own to be able to
never
just go
would
to
have.
school.
No, but I feel like what almost hurt me the most was that he let her think that she was a failure because she kept trying to apply for jobs like at fast food joints who were like rejecting her, and she kept thinking like, well, I'm such a loser, like I can't even get jobs at these places. And he's like, don't worry, babe, I got you. And I'm like, just tell her, no, I don't want you working, I want to take care of you, because she thinks that she's like
Mhm.
So
It's all
worthless
part of the
over here.
manipulation.
Well, that's part of the draw of these books. Like, none of these things would be okay in real life, right?
No, for
Like,
sure.
so like
Totally
we,
worth it to read about.
these are things that would be very disturbing. But the thing is, like, when you're writing CR, you've got to, you're kind of tapping into, you know, some things that, like, I don't know, we all have ton of stuff every day in our lives, and we all would kind of like to get a break from that and like let somebody else take
Yeah.
you know take take control and
Oh,
deal with
100%.
all those things. And so that's just kind of like a fantasy thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
like I
I
felt
I
like
get
the
that.
Yeah.
underserved part of the romance community that I was trying to hit, right? Like there are not a lot of golden retriever stalkers
I
like in
No.
the
know. It
books,
Right.
felt
right? Like
so
usually it's
good.
bully. It's all bully. And
Bully.
so
So refreshing.
and so
So
I was like, what
refreshing.
I want for this whole series is and it's like obviously touched this like huge, like people, it's like after they read it, they're like, do I like that? Like, I do like it, but why do I like it? And it's like,
Mhm.
because we read enemies to lovers, we read bully where they're like so mean and then they're nice, right? But I'm like, I want this guy who just is like gonna take care of everything. And he's an awful person under the surface, but like it is like a golden retriever dreamboat who just wants her to have like the, just I felt like there was an underserved portion of the community, and I couldn't find it in books. So I was like, I'm going to write it.
Yes.
That is one of the biggest feedbacks that I get from people that I have. They like listen and they're like, I don't really like it because I don't like, and I'm like, but there's
Like,
not.
it's not.
Like, but
It's
you
not.
don't get that. And I'm like, but you will with this. And they listen, and it's one of the things they're
They
like,
get
oh
it.
my gosh, this is so refreshing. I actually like. I'm
Mhm.
ashamed that I love this so much because they're like, that's my one excuse was, well, he was a bully and mean, so I could like cop out. And they're like, now I can't say that because he's so caring, and it's like good
Really.
intentions under like 6 feet of just messed up red flags. But
Yeah,
like,
like I never changed it to dark romance, on
right.
like the subtitle because I'm like, he's not like, yes, there are like a million red flags. There's like,
Yeah.
it is a lot of messed up things, but he also is like kind of a dreamboat, like
Yeah.
appealing to that like portion of you that you like don't want to admit, but you just want someone to take care of like everything and also be super hot and like
And be obsessed with
obsessed
you.
with you.
And
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
claim you in front of the world, with all
Yeah,
your
it's like
hearts and
in every
everything.
book,
Yeah.
it's like they're a bad guy and they're mean to them. And I'm like,
I
he's
know.
not going to do that. Like even, a little tying to the bed, he's still super nice
Yeah, he's
about
doing
it,
it.
Still
you
Yeah,
like
know?
he's doing
spoon
it.
feeding her breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, have you guys decided which you want to maybe narrate
Yeah,
or share
Alexis,
for
what are we
us?
gonna do? You want to do do you want to do that one scene? So I figured what we could do, if you wanted to, we could do any scene you want, but we
I'm
could
open to
do that.
whatever.
Okay, well, we could do that scene, but you would have to like find
Which
different
scene?
words. You know the
Oh,
scene
did you
where,
see the group chat?
No, I didn't make it over there because my mom called me. So I was
oh,
like
okay.
on the phone for a hot minute.
So
The
So we
let's
were
see.
tattoo
talking,
scene.
yeah, we were
Which
talking
one?
about potentially doing the tattoo scene, but you just
Oh,
have to like be careful about using different language
that's like
for,
Yeah,
every
we'd have
other
to use Mad
word.
Libs. Yeah.
or
Emoji.
I also thought a fun
Chicken
one could
emoji.
be the one where
Yeah.
where he gets into a fight at the game over her
The locker
jersey.
room one.
No, no,
We
not the
did that
locker
one and
room
got a.
one.
No, when he sees the
It's
yeah,
where
when he
she
sees
goes to his game and she's in the stands and he gets into a fight on the ice because she's wearing a jersey
she's wearing
and
Ari's,
then
right?
Yeah, isn't
and
that
then he
right
like
before the
comes up
locker
to
room?
her and is like,
Hmm.
I don't remember.
Whatever you
So
guys want to
there's
do.
dialogue.
I'm up for whatever.
I'm also
CR.
I remember the scenes, but I feel like we should pick a scene that has pretty balanced dialogue between the two of you, and I don't know
So the one
which
where he
scene
gets
has
mad on a
better.
fight, I think, is pretty Monroe heavy until the locker room. Because it's like, I believe, unless I'm off on that.
I think it might be from. Well, I think right before that is Lincoln's point of view, and then it switches to Monroe. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm trying to think what
Yeah,
the
me
most
neither.
balanced one, because I've been listening to it the audiobook
Yep.
this week.
Okay, so the tattoo scene is Monroe's point of view, and then there's but there's some good dialogue in the middle, but it's mostly Monroe, and so there's that. But let me see if I can find the if I can do like a word search for.
I had also suggested, so we did the texting scene from Monroe's point of view last time,
yeah.
but if we did it from Lincoln's point of view, because then it's still Monroe a lot in there,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
different. But I'm good
And
with whatever you guys want.
I mean, I'm
It's not
I'm
80%
I'll do
is the
all
only
three,
thing.
whatever works for you guys.
She's like, I'll narrate the whole book right
Yeah,
now.
what do you guys? I'm here. Like I have no plans the rest of the night, so I'm here.
Well,
All right.
is the tattoo scene pretty explicit, like
So
as far as
if
language?
we build up, she gets jealous. Like there's some back and forth there where he's like trying to figure her out too. I mean, before she knows it and she's being whisked away, there's like some back and forth banter.
Yeah,
I think it
this
switches
kind of a
to
good scene.
Lincoln's point of view after that too,
Yeah.
because he has to
Oh
go like
yeah,
turn it off.
that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I feel like we're at the end of our time together anyway. So even if
Okay.
I don't know something gets us booted, it's whatever for me.
All right.
Okay, so what did we decide?
Okay. So if you want to do the scene leading up to the tattoo scene, you've got page 150.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
All right. He was casting a spell on me. Is that where you're looking at?
Let me see here. Oh yeah, yeah, about right there.
Okay.
So I gotta move you over here. All right.
I normally
Perfect.
stand when I narrate, so this is going to be weird sitting.
Yeah, I'm standing right now.
I am not used to it. So, okay. Hold on. What was the build up right before? Let me read the sentence before.
I was casting a spell on you, I think.
Okay. He was casting a spell on me, wrapping himself around my heart, and it was both exhilarating and fucking terrifying. Every second with him was making it harder and harder to resist. Lincoln smiled reassuringly at me, reaching over to stroke my cheek gently.
Everything starts with a dream, baby. And now you have me to make sure it all happens.
I wanted to scream then. Tell him to stop making promises that would devastate me after he decided he was done. But instead, I found myself smiling back at him, a warmth spreading through my chest that pulled on the residual cold my memories always kept around. He was about to say something else when his phone buzzed on the couch next to me, interrupting our conversation. And when I glanced down, my heart sank at the sight of a woman's enormous breasts on the screen. It took me a second to actually process what I was seeing, but Lincoln was already reaching for the phone, his lips pressed into a thin, tight line as his jaw clenched.
What the hell?
He muttered under his breath, quickly deleting the picture and blocking the number it had come from, and setting his phone down, face down on the couch. He peered up at me, his eyes dark with emotion.
It's not what you think. Sometimes people get a hold of my number, and I guess that's their play. I have to change my number all the fucking time.
His voice was low and serious, his gaze pleading as he stared at me. So you didn't know her? I pressed, hating how angry and jealous I sounded. He smiled gently, once again seeming pleased by my raging emotions.
Well, those were just her boobs, so I can't be sure, but no. I don't think those those boobs belong to. I don't think those bloopers belong to anyone I've ever met before.
He was trying to joke with me, but my green-eyed monster was out of control. I never would have expected this to be me. I started gathering my stuff.
Hey,
He said, an edge of panic laced in his voice.
what are you doing?
It's late. I need to get back home. I have work early and all that. He sat for a second in silence, and I didn't dare look at him.
You're really upset.
He finally muttered, as if it was just sinking in. I chewed on my lip, shame turning my stomach with how easily I'd let my jealousy take control. I'm sorry. It's not like I have any claim on you or anything. He tilted his head, his eyes searching my face.
Are you really saying that?
I rolled my eyes, trying to cover my sudden nervousness. Of course I am. This is our second date, if I should even be calling it that. He leaned in, his voice dropping to a whisper.
All right. This is going to fucking end right now.
My breath caught in my throat, and the tears were immediate. Fuck. How had this night gone so far out of control? I stood up from the couch, but before I could go anywhere, he scooped me up, his strong arms enveloping me. I barely had time to process what was happening before we were walking down a hallway that wasn't part of the earlier tour and into what was obviously his bedroom. And I froze, breathless and unsure of what would happen next. My heart was racing, my body trembling as I tried to process how we'd gotten here, with him standing before me like a dark and dangerous god. I couldn't even look at him, my eyes darting everywhere but at his face. I was a mess of emotions, my thoughts jumbled and scattered like leaves in the wind. But even in my confusion and fear, I couldn't ignore the way my body was responding to him. My skin was alive with electricity, my pulse racing with desire. He stood there, watching me with eyes that were more amber than honey at the moment, his intense gaze seeming to see everything. The heat of his stare was like a physical touch, and it made me want him even more. For a moment, we stayed just like that, locked in a tense and charged silence. And then, without a word, he was on me, his lips claiming mine in a fierce and hungry kiss. All my fear and confusion melted away in an instant, replaced by a deep and aching need for him. He suddenly ripped away from my lips, his chest heaving, his breaths coming out in heavy gasps. Lincoln took a step backwards until he was towering over me. He shook his head, his tattooed fingers raking through his tousled hair. Then his hand moved to the waistband of his sweatpants, and he pulled it down, showcasing his hot, swollen, gigantic dick. His thick length was dusky, silky expanse textured by ridged veins. The gleaming head of his hoo-ha was slicked with his stuff. I feel like I need to
Yeah.
some of these words.
Totally.
Sorry. It was a strange thought because I'd never thought of eggplants as attractive, but his was beautiful. What every woman was put on this earth to desperately crave. Desire consumed me, a fierce ache that demanded to be sated. My center throbbed, slick and hungry, as I felt myself clenching in response. I needed him.
You don't think you have a claim on me?
He finally growled, breaking the fueled silence.
Do you think it's possible for anyone else to exist now I've found you?
His tattoo hand slowly traveled his length, his thumb catching his arousal and bringing it to my mouth. I whimpered and parted my lips as he slid it inside, the salty taste my new favorite thing.
Good girl.
He breathed. My tongue swirled around his thumb, making sure to get every drop, and he slowly withdrew it.
Look at me.
He ordered, and my eyes immediately snapped to his face.
No. Look at me.
My gaze trailed down his toned body until it landed on his eggplant that extended all the way to his abdomen. And it was then that I noticed the dark black cursive script etched on the pink skin, the outline of the letters an angry red color that bordered a new tattoo. What? I murmured, leaning forward so I could read it. Monroe. His was tattooed tattooed with my name. My gaze snapped up to his smug, perfect face.
Pretty obvious you don't have anything to worry about, isn't it?
When did you... My words trailed off, because, really? What did you say about an eggplant tattoo of your name?
The second I knew you were real.
He commented casually, like that was normal, everyday behavior. I still couldn't find the words. I traced the cursive letters with my gaze, emotion thick in my throat. It was like he had branded me as his own, claimed me in a way I'd never experienced before. I was the girl who was never wanted, passed around like a burden from person to person, never feeling like I belonged anywhere. My mother hadn't even wanted me. But strangely, seeing my name permanently etched onto his skin, his eggplant of all things, it filled a void inside of me that had always ached. A void left by all the years of abandonment and rejection. I was suddenly starving. I reached out my hand tentatively.
Yes, touch me. I'm desperate for it.
His voice was a pained, delicious growl, like gasoline on a fire that was already burning in my belly. It was getting a little out of hand, the lust coursing through me. I was pretty sure I could just from the sound of his voice at that point. I leaned forward and worked my way down his stomach, placing light kisses and licks on every ripple of muscle. When I reached his sexy V, I lingered there, tracing his toned abs with my tongue. He shivered under my touch, his breaths coming out in sexy gasps. I got to his impressive length, and I hesitated for a moment. I mean, the thing was massive, at least 9 inches long. But the sight and scent of him had me so turned on, I couldn't resist. My fingers trailed along the length of his throbbing eggplant, tracing the veins that pulse beneath the skin. I could feel the heat radiating off, the slickness of it around me, coating my fingertips. Lincoln was watching me intently, his eyes dark with desire. I squeezed it gently, my fingers not even coming close to touching, and another rush of slickness trickled out the slit. CR, your chuckles are
She's
not
like, I
helping.
can't.
You wrote it.
I love it so much.
This is all you.
We're just your puppets. I mean, you said it.
Oh gosh.
Goes in there and comes out here.
Dude,
I feel like
it's so good.
Mhm.
it's like a
Yeah,
good
that was
stopping
really good.
spot.
Yeah, I'm like, we all know where it goes from there.
Yeah.
That's
We all know what happens next.
Yeah, I do remember thinking at that scene, like, oh man, I hope he doesn't get an infection from that.
Yeah.
You don't get infections in romance books, okay?
No, you do not. You do not.
Yeah.
And people
Yeah,
say this all the
definitely.
time because I love books with like breeding in them, and like half the time that has to do with like them keeping like male fluid inside their bodies. Like times throughout, we're like, ew, UTIs. I'm like, it's fake, okay?
I know
Let
every
me have my
time I
fantasy.
would be like, this would never happen in real life. I'm like, this is not in real life.
Yeah.
No,
So,
no, no.
like, do you think that they, so like I read a lot of them where, where they do have to make sure that they're all covered and protected and
Yeah.
and all that. Do you feel like that takes you out of the story, or is it easy enough to write into the story?
Well, I had an editor who would be like, where's the condom? Where, like, you didn't mention it. I'm like, because I don't want to mention, like, him taking a break to go grab this off a shelf in his closet. Like,
Yeah. That
I
always
don't know.
seems kind
It
of
was
weird to me.
so
Like,
funny.
why would you do, I mean, there's so many things that happen in the context of a story that obviously would not happen in real life, unless there are police
Yeah.
and judges and restraining orders involved. So, if you got that going on, well, okay, fuck it. Everybody's clean and what's the snip, the a vasectomy, right?
No,
I just always
not
put them
during
on like
puberty,
birth
okay?
control, so
But
then they don't have to worry about
Yeah,
it.
or birth control.
yeah,
Like, yeah, everybody's birth control, and so like you don't have to say, and then he stopped and rolled the condom on. It's like I guess it's I've heard it said pretty well, but there's nothing sexy about it.
yeah.
It's like it's a break.
I
You
think
have to
there are
stop.
some women, they find it's less the act that's sexy and it's the chivalry of a man.
Yeah,
Because like women joke about men so much
Hmm.
who complain about having to wear them
Hmm.
that I think for some women it's nice to have a man in a book who is putting her safety first and
Yeah, to take a
taking
little
the
responsibility
time.
for the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I
even
mean,
if
like
it's just
I
the first
personally,
time, yeah,
Hmm.
even the
yeah,
suggestion of being like, should we, like, that
I don't
kind of a
like it,
thing.
but I get
But
why people do
yeah,
it.
I know
Hmm.
that I read comments and I have friends and people who read and they're like, if it's said once, like an option has been discussed once, I'm fine with it not happening at all the rest of the book or the
Hmm.
series. But they're like, I like having that initial like, oh, would this make you feel comfortable? And then like them being like, no, it's fine. And then like, and
Yeah.
whatever. But
There's
I do know
always a
people are like
scene
that way.
that's like I'm clean, and he
Yeah.
goes, I've never gone bare, and then she's
Yeah.
like, neither have I. Then they're like, "Are you sure?"
Do
Then
you
they
want to
have
do
it.
this?
Like in every, I'm sure I have it in like some of my books, but it's like every book I read has that exact same scene, and it's so funny.
Yeah, and I guess you
Totally.
have
And
to.
that conversation, it's so cringe for me because like you're in the moment with someone and you have to pause to be like,
Hmm.
how slutty have you been?
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
it
I
is
think
kind of
it also
funny.
it does depend on the situation. Like with this, Lincoln wasn't he's done for life. So like it didn't
Yeah,
matter to him.
for
Like she
sure.
doesn't get a choice. Like this is just him now. Like so I think in this situation it definitely he's like nope. Like
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I love that
Yeah.
so much though. Ah, and I loved this book. It was
It
such
was
a
a good
pleasure
book.
to read, to listen
Yeah.
to, performed by
It was a
you
funny
guys.
book. So I think that the mark of a good writer is to take you, as far how far can a writer take you through a book before you go, fuck, no way. Because like I was reading through this book and it made sense to me. Like, yeah, the landlord had to
It
fucking
did.
pay. And that douchebag in the restaurant who, well, so yeah, these guys have to pay. And all of these things, before you even think about, oh, wait a minute, okay, so yeah, there are laws against using for it.
Yeah.
But you made it made sense.
So maybe that's why 80% catches everyone off guard because they're like, this doesn't make sense. But I mean, how I knew I was like, there's gonna be
It
no
makes
third
sense.
act. There is no third act breakups in this series of
Yeah.
books. Okay, it will
Mhm.
not happen. But
No, they
there
won't
has to
allow it.
be, yeah, right. Like she's gonna want a third act breakup, but he's just gonna have to be like, sorry,
I
it's not happening.
Yep, and you
I
have to
think
watch.
it's the neck part that is what really throws people off at
We're
that part.
like,
It's not the whole situation, and I think they expect him to be like, "Nope, you're coming with me," and like scooping her up, and then like what happens in the next chapter. Like I think that's predictable.
Mhm.
I think the thing that catches people off guard is he's like, "Go to sleep," like it's like like that part,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, that's
because
true.
he doesn't
I
want
see
her
no
to
red
struggle.
flags.
He doesn't want her to struggle. He wants her to be safe
Exactly.
and cared for. So he's
Exactly.
like, he's like,
oh,
she'll just gently
I
fall asleep and I can carry her
I
like a
loved
princess.
how you wrote that though. They're like, I was trying to count how many steps it would take me to get, and then you were like zero steps.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, I loved that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Lucy. Lucy
Really good.
just joined us.
So if you're
Yeah.
going to
Hi,
kidnap
Lucy.
anybody, then it's got to be Romance and Rose over here because she
What?
she
So,
understands.
are we in for
I,
about the same level of the craziness for Ari, or you think he's going to be
Yeah,
worse?
what's up with Ari? I mean,
oh yeah.
you did intimate some level of craziness with Ari.
Yeah, so I'm having Raven beta for me because I like was telling her some of my ideas and she was like, "Are we sure? Like, are we sure?" And I was like, "Okay, maybe you can read it and just tell me if I've gone too far."
Mhm.
Um, But he's funnier than Lincoln, right? So he's got like he's
Oh,
also a
that's
golden
funny.
retriever, but he's like the sunshine and she's like the grump.
I love a
Because
reverse
Oh, I
grumpy
get to be a
sunshine.
grump. I like that.
yeah, well, so you're like a mix of like Monroe, but like kind of like abused background, basically. So
Okay.
she's just like not like this super happy, you know, she's has anxiety, she has like some mental disorders, like she who's just like this like Troy's gonna have to be like this Labrador, you know, that's like doing crazy things but like totally happy about it. So
Yeah, that's
He's
cool.
like proud.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
So that,
cannot wait.
yeah, that
we'll
sounds
see if
like
I can
fun.
pull it off.
Yes.
I'm
Beautiful.
so excited.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me, you guys. I know I've kept you way longer
Oh,
than
it's
the
Thanks for
hour.
having us. And
Thank
everyone
you.
had to stay on TikTok, so I'm so proud of everyone.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, we
did
made it. We didn't get
We
kicked off
did it, you
once. That's
guys.
really
I
good.
know.
High
I
five,
think,
high
yeah, I think
five.
we need to give Alexis the MVP for creative Mad Libs.
Truly.
So
And
Excellent.
I hope to see you all in Vegas
Yes, it's gonna be
at
you
so
some
will.
point.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be snuck in apparently, so we're
yeah.
gonna
Yeah,
try to make
just come
Alexis
because
is going to be
there are
there.
actually a
She'll be
lot of
wearing a
people.
wig and glasses.
If
There are a
not,
lot of
you
people
guys
who
are
are
going to
coming just
Denver,
to
right?
hang out.
Hmm.
You guys
I'm
will all
going
be
to
in
Denver.
Denver, right?
Yeah, yep.
I need
Okay.
Troy, I need you to talk to Denver because I didn't apply until like after they'd already announced all
You
the
could go
people
as
who were
a
gonna go
fan
to
with
it.
me. We could
Oh,
do
really?
this together.
You want to go to Denver?
Just
Oh,
hang out.
yeah.
I think I want to go to Denver because I know a lot of people who are going, but like
I
I
would,
didn't even fill out the thing until after they had like
I would
announced
definitely
everyone.
take time for you to go to
Oh my
Denver.
gosh.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
They're
I'll
still announcing people. I'm like,
yeah,
There's a lot.
how?
yeah.
yeah. Well,
Anyway,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, Denver is
Oh
a
yeah,
great
and Book
time. Like,
Bonanza
I'm
24.
yeah, there's some great like my
and Dark
favorite.
Star.
Yeah, except for Dark Star, my favorite convention is Readers Take Denver because
I'm
it's
so
so cool.
excited.
I'm
Now
so excited.
so I'm also going to go to Readers and Authors in the Bluegrass because
Yeah.
Kiki Chatfield is she does that, and I talked to so many people at Readers Take Denver who said that was the one to go to. I think
I haven't heard of that one before.
that's in Lexington.
He has like in Kentucky.
Yeah, so you
Ooh.
can
A
you can walk over
Polycon,
there.
I want you guys to go to that one. I love a Polycon so much. It's so fun.
Where is that one?
It's in Washington, D.C.
It's also right after Denver, huh? They're pretty close to each other, right? As far as safety.
The only
Yeah, that's what I
thing I
mean. Like a
have.
Polycon, I like sign up for a Polycon like a year and a half in advance every year. I've gone 2 years now, and then I'll be at next year's. But I like just looked at like random ones, and I just like signed up, and I'm like, I don't think everyone is already like announced or whatever.
Not
Mhm.
everyone.
But
Yeah, one of them. Yeah, one of them is got room for you for sure. I know that.
They have Sinners and Stardust, Tracy, in Boston. That's going to be next August, I believe.
There's a new
Um,
romance one coming out in Savannah, Georgia this July also.
Oh, Savannah's beautiful.
I'm being taken. I have to get the name. I'll message you guys the name. But an author I'm doing her series for, she's bringing me along to go do that, and it's a new
Oh.
up and coming thing. Yeah.
Yeah, Savannah's beautiful. It's hot. I mean, it'll be hot in July for sure, but it is a beautiful city. So
Yeah, for
the
sure, for
only
sure.
ones I know for sure that I'll be at next year are a Polycon and probably Edinburgh. And then in 2025, I'll be at Windy, like the one that's in Scottsdale
West.
or whatever. Yeah.
Mhm.
But that's as far as I've gotten with my schedule so far.
Yeah. I'm doing
Yeah.
Denver, that one in Savannah. I'm attending Dark Star as a
yes.
fan, and then I am gonna try and do Edinburgh. So those
Yeah.
are the ones that I'm for sure going. But I'm gonna
We'll see if Troy
try
gives
and
me
do.
an invite to Dark Star.
Save room for Dark Star.
We'll beat down the doors. We'll just
Yeah.
go down.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know some
Yeah.
people. I know some people.
There's a ball gown one in Seattle. I'm also going to next year.
The books
Oh
and
yeah, that's
Is
crowns
that
and
a
gowns and
gowns.
Seattle thing
crowns.
or?
Yeah,
I,
but I
Yeah.
I
haven't
want to
filled.
go to one of those so bad.
Yeah, I got in, but then I haven't filled out the form, so like they haven't announced me yet because
That's
I'm just
amazing.
always kind of behind right
Yeah.
now.
Well, you only have
When is
like
that
5
again?
books. You're only doing a couple of books a month,
They're
so
doing those like
True.
there's like 3 of those I think now. The gowns and crowns.
I know, but
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm
I
in
think
Portland,
the
so I'm
one
like,
I'm
when
at
is
the
the
one
Seattle
where
one?
Raven Kennedy is also an Ivy Asher
That would
because
be
we're all going
amazing.
together. Um,
It'll
so
be such a good time. Well, I cannot wait for your newest release. I can't wait
mhm.
for the audiobook to come out for
And
that.
I'll see you in
Yes,
what,
in just a
12
few
days.
weeks.
Yeah.
12 days. Oh my gosh, less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I'm going camping this weekend with my family, and like that's like I feel like I can't think about that till I get past camping. But then
Mhm.
I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna have like 4 days before
Yeah.
like leave.
So, secret. This is my first book convention ever.
It's
Really?
gonna be great.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
So,
perfect
I
because my
figured
first
it's
was
baby
Love in
steps before
Seattle.
Denver or something, or if I could get into Vegas. I was like,
Yeah.
this, because like I got to see the outskirts of Book Bonanza,
Yeah.
and then, but I didn't get to like go to the event, and so I'm like,
Yeah. This will
okay,
be
now
much more
let's
We can get you,
intimate.
yeah.
see.
We can get you to Vegas. I think it'd be awesome for you to be in Vegas if you
You
can
have to
make
go.
it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
we
see.
got to get
I
you
might do what
tickets.
you said. I might like put out a help wanted ad.
Hmm.
Like, anyone want an assistant?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
yeah,
that'd be
I mean,
great.
I have an assistant already, but I might need a second one, so I'll look at that because I have a lot.
How many assistants do you have?
So
Yeah,
yeah,
you might be able to have 2.
Yeah.
yeah,
So okay, yeah, we'll
we'll
get you.
figure it out.
It'll
Yeah, it'll
Okay.
be fine. Just come. Just
Oh yeah,
come.
I'm gonna get a plane ticket. We'll figure it out. I'll figure it
yeah,
out.
All right.
yeah, we'll do it. All right,
Okay,
Well,
I
I
guys.
hope
gotta
you
go
guys
feed
have a
my
wonderful
kids,
Okay,
rest
but
of
thank
your
it's
you.
evening.
What a great
Yes,
fun.
time.
thank
Thank you
you
very
guys
much,
so
guys.
much.
It was really cool. All right.
You guys
So
are the
much fun.
best. Bye.
Have
I'll
a
talk
good
to you
day.
guys
Bye.
all again.